Hey guys, this is Jimmy Keebs. I'm here on the Artist Journey podcast with my pals Elliott and Landyn, and I'm going to be talking about my career in film and my career in the brewing industry. So stick around.
Here we go. And you're kind of crowding my space there, bro.
Oh, wow.
Don't touch it. Just kidding. All right. Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks so much for joining. I'm Elliott Graber. We are at the Artist Podcast Journey today with the one and only Mr. Jimmy Keebs.
Hey! How's it going?
Jimmy is an executive producer, actor, beer aficionado, and a tour extraordinaire of historic St. Paul breweries. And he has a wonderful...
I read that.
It's
All
true.
that true? Yeah.
I wrote it all down like 5 minutes before we got to that.
In really big type, too.
In like big... Let me... He's also the executive producer of In Harm's Way. He makes appearances in Finding Jimmy, Steel Vengeance, Problem Solving the Republic, also known as American Rescue Squad. And you may have even seen him in one of Mr. Landyn Banx's music videos.
Yes. Oh, that Christmas music video. Oh my God.
Dark days!
Oh,
Dark days!
I drove people nuts with that saying.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining, and cheers.
Cheers.
To everyone. This is... it's kind of a great reunion to be here in 2021, celebrating each other. So tonight is for Jimmy.
Yes.
Woohoo! Why, I don't understand.
Me either.
Nobody does, Jimmy. Nobody does.
Nobody knows who you are, that's why.
Oh, man. Okay,
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
So Jimmy, you're from...
Scoot over, you're hogging my camera.
Oh,
you're
again?
Yeah.
Jimmy, you're from Pine City. Am I right about that?
Originally, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. How big of a town is that?
About 3,000 people.
3,000,
Yeah.
okay. So what was it like growing up in that environment?
No, I mean, small town. I mean, you didn't have a whole lot going on. I mean, town kind of shuts down at like 5 o'clock. But, you know, it was a lot of fun, too. Like, we didn't have to worry about anything. We could just, stay out all night as kids. You come home to eat, but it's like, all right, I ate. Now
See you later.
See you later. I'll come back at,
And you were a good kid, right? I'm sure you didn't get into trouble.
Actually, I was pretty well behaved. The only time I got pulled over, I was riding in a truck that got pulled over because we were double parked and we were drinking. We threw the beers out the truck right before the cop.
Hoping they didn't see, right?
He didn't see us, and
there is DNA on that. They can test that.
That's
well,
true. Yeah.
Technology is advanced these days.
I'm thankful he didn't because he let us go, and I'm like, oh, whew, thank God.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
My dad always told me, he's like, oh, you get arrested, I'm going to get arrested too so I can be in jail with you. Because then you're really not going to like fucking jail. And I'm like, oh, great.
Wow.
He's going to get her, because he's like, I can kick your ass all I want in jail. In jail.
Right. So you seem to be the type of guy that's kind of always got himself into a little bit of trouble, maybe along...
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Or a lot of it.
Or a lot of it, maybe.
Depending on who you ask. Yeah. Who's telling the whole truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything from like throwing, bottles with gasoline onto the highway or burning down barns or something?
No, I mean, the worst, that was the worst.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst thing we ever did. Was, have a cop talk to us when we were clearly intoxicated. He didn't want to deal with us. It's small town.
Yeah.
Just go home.
Go home.
Go home.
Be left alone.
If I catch you guys out, you have 15 minutes to get home. If I catch you out, you're going in. I'm like, all right, well, we got to go, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we go to our friend's house. We sit there for 15 minutes. I'm like, the Grand Casino Hinckley has $2 breakfast. We should go there. I'm like, you're correct, sir. Yes, we should. And away we went. We went up 15 miles north and had breakfast at 2 in the
next
morning.
to the cop who pulled you over.
Yeah.
In a donut.
Dude, a friend of mine's growing up, it was his uncle.
Oh, wow.
So I asked him about a nephew right away.
Hey, you could have gone to Toby's too.
Oh, there you
They're
go.
good.
Yeah.
No, the Hinkley was $2. $2 after midnight for breakfast. They gave you 2 eggs, a big piece of ham, hash browns. I don't eat eggs at all, so I'd always get the chili.
Yeah.
I get the chili with a large Mountain Dew. that was
What a breakfast! A breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
That's right.
Doesn't get any better than that.
no ice either, and if you fucking bring me ice, I spoon it out and put it on the table.
Yeah.
Wow, wait on you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I won't leave a tip either. Eh?
Oh no,
A tip, no ice.
no ice. So coming from Pine City, when did you come to the Twin Cities then?
So I kind of had a little inkling of that I wanted to be a filmmaker. I got my first video camera in 2004. I brought that camera everywhere, and I filmed everything that we did with that camera, going out to the bars around Pine City, the shenanigans that would happen when you're in your early 20s and you're drunk. There's a video of us, going around causing trouble at all the bars and everything that I took down off of YouTube. Once YouTube got like really big, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna remove that because some of the people in the video, I mean, they have careers now and they're not kids anymore. I'm like, all right, we'll take that down.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Right.
But we shot our first short up there randomly on like a Saturday, and it was like a very short 5-minute thing. All right, well, started thinking about it. And I'm like, I kind of want to do this. So I moved down to Roseville in 2005, and I finally got into the film school at MCTC in 2007. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to film school. I'm going to go to college. I had never gone to college. I've always had a day job where I didn't need college. I made pretty good money, working this day job, which I'm going on my 20th year, June 4th.
That's good. You hear it, guys. It's never too late to go to school.
Yeah, please.
True. Yes.
Please go to college for whatever you like to go for.
So for those of people who don't know about MCTC, I think we've all had a little experience with MCTC. What is MCTC and how does that affect?
So MCTC, the Minneapolis Community and Technical College, I think they call it something else now. I think they might have rebranded a little bit. But at the time, I was told it was like one of the best film programs out there that you could go to. So I went. I was very happy to get it accepted. Took me 2 tries to get accepted.
Really?
Yes.
First one denied. The troublemaker.
The first one was
He
denied.
throws beer out windows.
So, but at the same time,
no.
while I'm trying to get in, I started filming local bands. And my friends had a band called Asteria. So I'm out at the club with them every Saturday night. I'm filming all their shows with my little Sony Handycam. And, that's kind of my life. It's like, all right, I'm going to film their band, and then I'm going to go get shithoused over here. And, after they're done. But one weekend, it was actually after my first week at MCTC, I think I had 1 class at MCTC. Show up, and they're like, hey, we got this guy. We hired this guy to film the band with you. Do you want to work with him? I'm like, I don't want to work with anybody else. I'm the guy.
I work alone.
I work alone, yeah.
Get this right.
And they're like, no.
The Keebs works alone.
Just meet him. Just meet him. I'm like, all right. So I go,
I have to?
I meet the fucking guy. And
The rest is history.
yeah, the rest is definitely history for me. Because it was Brandon Van Vliet. He's like a brother to me now. But at the time, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy that's like coming into my territory and like he's taking bands away from me?
Yeah.
But he was there. He had his Canon XL2 camera. That was my dream camera. And he's like, do you want to use it? And I'm like, no. That's way too nice for me. I'm fine with my little Sony. All right, let's just get through this. Let's just go shoot this band.
Dream camera or not,
Yeah.
I'm doing the Sony.
Right.
And then
Say no more.
we shoot the band. About a week later, comes time to edit the video, so I go over to his apartment, and he has like a really nice office in his apartment where, with a nice computer for editing, and we sat there and we cut the video together, and I worked with them ever since, because you just can't not like the guy. And that's honestly, that's what we did that spring, is we kept going out and shooting bands with their cameras. Now I bought a Canon XL2
You
myself.
caved in.
Yeah, and I bought my dream camera because I got student loan money. So I'm like, I'll spend $1,500 on a camera.
Why not?
Yeah, so I'm running around with that. That was a lot of fun. And then he's like, I'm gonna shoot my feature this year, right, this summer. Will you come out and be one of the camera guys? I'm like, yeah. So here I am. I finished my first semester of film school, and now I'm gonna go work on a feature. And I'm like, mind's blowing.
Let me guess. Is it potpourri?
No.
Oh.
This is well before potpourri.
Oh,
This is Trust Me.
Trust Me.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I've seen that. Yes. Did you mention who we're talking about?
I did. I said I said his
Mr.
name.
Brandon.
That's right. Well, I think we all have the same feeling about when we met Brandon, and because we've all worked with Brandon, and he's a
Yes.
wonderful person. And but you worked with him on quite a few shows, didn't you?
Yeah.
Let's see. First of all, In Harm's Way, you were the executive producer, right?
Yep.
And American Rescue Squad, Rise Against the Fall.
Yep.
That was with Brandon as well.
And yes.
Me and Landyn we were the bad guys in that.
Yes.
I mean, like,
It's a lot of fun to be a bad guy.
yeah, we were bad guys.
He really wanted to kill me, though. He wasn't joking. He wasn't playing.
I get to be mean to Mike Borka though. That was fun.
Well, of course. Yeah.
You know.
I see something on the shelf over there. Is
Yeah.
that a...
Oh, is that the? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Let me grab.
That was,
The American. Oh yeah. So at the time, well, now it's called American Rescue Squad, but it used to be called Problem Solving the Republic. Written and I believe directed, or at least produced by Elliott Graber of Divini Pictures.
Yes.
So this is his big baby. Took him about a year or two
Yes.
to finish.
Yeah.
But a full
Yes.
feature about, well, you guys tell us. You know a bit more about Problem Solving the Republic, American Rescue Squad.
It's a hilarious film. If I'm in a bad mood, I'll put that movie on just to laugh, even though I've seen
Yeah.
it a few times. Yes, it's a fun movie.
I think it was a lot of fun to make. It was when politics were fun too.
And the
Okay.
songs are so catchy too.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a political musical.
Satire.
Yeah, satire with superheroes.
Yes.
And
Singing.
I remember hearing
The
about
welfare man right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. I came in for a day and I did a little tap shoe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
it. And
I had to miss a job because of that one.
Like you do. It happens.
I think I might have
Yeah.
even gotten fired from a job for that one.
It happens.
But it was worth it.
Yes, I've done that for auditions before. Not getting fired, but going to.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
hearing about that one though. That one in particular was like, yeah, we're gonna do this feature. And then I'm like, all right, well, you guys are gonna do another feature. You just did two. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna do another one. But we want you to play this role, the taxpayer. I'm like, yeah, I'll play whatever. All right, I don't care.
It was a pretty significant role.
I didn't
Yes.
know that until he
Yes.
sent me the
Yes.
script, and I'm reading the script going,
Dang.
fucking taxpayers. That's a lot. Like,
It's like I don't do more than 2-3 lines.
I thought
like
it was, yeah.
it's like I can handle it like 2 lines, but fuck, man,
It's like
I got
this is some real actor stuff. I
Yeah,
know.
right. So
Right.
I gotta memorize all this. Like, oh shit.
How much do I get?
And when I'm not speaking or on screen, they're talking about me. I'm like, what is going on?
I started a few rumors about you.
Well, that's good because there's a lot out there. So, which one did you start?
I've only heard the bad ones myself.
Yeah. Those are the ones I made up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but let's talk about Finding Jimmy. Okay, here's the poster right here. Yeah. Tell me about Finding Jimmy.
My advice for anybody is get out and talk to your local film community. Go to all the functions you can go to, network, because that is the result of networking. I was at one of the Z Fests, which is a local film festival in Minnesota, where a lot of like the talented people in our community come together and they make it 7 minutes short. Well, I was producing a music video that was showing at Z Fest when they still did music videos, and I was there with my team, and we're at the after party after the showing, after the awards. We're at the canteen on the 4th floor of MOA. And we're sitting up there, and we're all sitting at our table, and I'm like, guys, we got to go out and like talk to these other teams. I mean, some of these guys, they made great films. And I think it was Ryan Becken and Brian Turk had made Landyn Banx. I think that was the name of the short.
Yeah,
really, really, really funny. I thought it was really funny. So I made it a point to go over and talk to them. And I go to talk to him, and Ryan just happened to be telling a story, and he backed up and he stepped on my foot. And I'm like, dude. And I'm like, hey, just want to introduce myself. I'm Jimmy. I did this over here. I liked what you guys did over here. And the more I talked to him and Brian, they're like, we might have something for you. And I'm like, for me? I've not even mentioned that I act at all to you guys, but I'm like, all right.
The shoe fits.
Right, yeah, well, if the shoe fits, I mean.
A few weeks later, I get an email with a script, and it's for Finding Jimmy, and I'm reading the script going, oh, this guy's kind of a fucking nerd, which I'm not. I'm not at all a nerd.
Not at all.
Hey, in my opinion, I'm not a nerd. And I'm like, hey, I love the script, but can we call it anything else? Yeah, I mean, call my character any other name but Jimmy. And like, yeah, we'll see if you get the part. I'm like, oh shit, I don't even have the part yet.
Yeah, I auditioned for the part of myself. Like,
never assume.
Yeah, never
Exactly.
assume, right?
So I show up to my audition, which was actually more of a screen test with Carrie Ann Craighead, who plays opposite of me in Finding Jimmy. And I worked with Carrie Ann in Problem Solving in the Republic.
Loved her part in that.
Yeah.
Yes. Is this her right here?
Yeah.
Is that right? That's Carrie Ann? I mean, I even recognize her from just the drawing.
Yeah,
so.
that is Carrie Ann.
I think she's hosting radio now in Rochester, isn't she?
Yeah, that's the last I heard.
Yes, she's on a radio.
Radio in Rochester.
Yes.
So, okay, so I've worked with Carrie Ann and Brandon, of course, and, I've worked with Ryan Becken and Brian Turk also.
Yes.
So all great
You were in their
people.
Z-Fest last year.
That's right. Yes. So
In
so
place of me.
Well, what was that? Well, listen, man. I told them your rate, and they were like, "We can't spend $2,000 a day. Okay, we can't." Listen, and we can't afford, to have all this these drugs on set. We can't afford to have, the strippers, all these things, right?
When you have set, there are
Yeah.
there's a lot of
contract is never
there's a lot of things that keep me up and keep me down.
And and he has to be just so in order to work. So to perform. Yes. But what was that experience like with Finding Jimmy then? Like when you finally did do the role with those guys?
Oh man, it was like nothing I'd never experienced with, because I'd never worked with these guys before.
Yeah.
So I show up on set the first day, and they have like camera track set up, for doing dolly shots, and I'm like, the fuck am I? Like the guys I worked with before, I mean, they're using like skateboards and shit. Like, these guys have like gear.
The secret is out.
We're shutting down a gas station for my opening shot. We're shutting down a gas station. People need to buy gas. Like, you can't just shut down gas stations. And
actually, you can, and they did.
Yeah,
it's fair.
And they totally did. And I was blown away by that. I'm like, for little old me, they're shutting down a gas station. Okay. Yeah, and it
This
was
is
a
the life
lot of
I've
fun.
always dreamed of.
What I say about finding Jimmy is what's weird is the guys that played my friends, I'd never met them before, but the people that were kind of like my enemies or my antagonists, they were all my friends. Because Shannon's in there, Doug Sidney's in there. You know, me and Doug we were in Potpourri together. I mean, we had a scene together. You know, me and Shannon, we're best friends, and we had the legendary scene in Steel Vengeance together. I mean, so yeah, all these other guys like I'd never met, and I never really I wasn't on camera with them until I think the second or third night. Because we did it mostly like shooting at night.
Yeah.
We didn't. I don't think we did any day stuff. And it was just kind of fun to go around St. Paul and shoot. But what sucked though is I was also moving at the same time. Like the first day, I was moving into my new apartment, and like the movers, I got done unloading the truck. I had about an hour of downtime, and then I had to leave. So it was a very, very long day. And the movers, they just moved my furniture. I saw boxes.
Oh boy.
So after I get done shooting, I'd go over to my old house and grab boxes.
Moonlighting.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I remember it premiered, like it was done. We're wrapped, it's done. It premieres at a camp bar downtown St. Paul.
That's a fun place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's still around.
Yeah, I think so.
It might have survived.
It's got like 2 bars in it, like a theater for like cabaret shows.
Yeah, and
things
that's
like
where
that.
it was back in the theater.
Yeah.
Yes, I had no idea it was a gay bar. And to me,
I didn't. Yeah.
I didn't either.
I didn't either. I walked in there.
And to
Well,
me,
I
it's
really
like-
didn't though.
and really, to me,
We'll let it slide.
yeah.
but I've been back one other time since, and I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking bar. Like, who cares? You know,
Right.
You know, it's a place to drink. And yeah, that's where it premiered, and I remember just looking around, going, yeah, hey, we did it. I mean, people are laughing.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's long. It's a little long for a short 45 minutes. I mean, I think even Ryan will tell you that, where he's like, I want to cut it down a little bit, but I don't know what to cut. But man, it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun to like get that experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, work with that new crew. Definitely network and work with new people if you can. Because I've since moved on to work with other crews too, and it's been so much fun.
And so, when you were getting into your career, did you feel like were you looking for it, or did it just kind of fall into your lap a little
It
bit?
fell. It totally fell into my lap.
Interesting.
Because I was working on Trust Me with Brandon, and I was only on for like a weekend as a camera guy, and I think one day I ran the boom mic. And then I didn't come back until like later on, like months later. He called me up randomly because we weren't that close then. And he's like, I got a part for you and Trust Me. And I'm like, part? I'm not an actor. Like, what are you talking about? So
That can be if the money's right.
yeah,
Right.
And he has me play this cop. So I play this cop in Trust Me, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. You can see it too. Like the first shot is the first shot that we shot is the first shot of me on camera too. Is pretty much a POV of my face, and you can see when this apartment door opens, my eyes just get really big because I am terrified that I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna forget my line.
Oh.
And it's one line, and it's like, blah blah blah. I'm so and so. Here's my card. And I pull out a fucking card out of my pocket. All right. End of my little scene.
And how many takes did it
Oh.
do to get that?
Probably 4 or 5.
Okay.
You know,
Not bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot
that's
better
I
than
did
finding.
17 one time.
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
Finding
Seems about
Jimmy.
my normal.
There were a few scenes where I could not remember my lines at all. I don't know what it was that day. I just could not remember them, and it's like I felt bad to the point where I think they had to write them down.
Cue cards.
Yeah, they had to give me
Never
cue
go out
cards
of style.
because I'm like, I cannot remember this line of dialogue, and it sucks that when you get in that moment where you just can't remember.
Like, why do we hire this guy again?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, right? Especially you're like, okay, I showed up to set, I looked at the lines like 2 minutes ago. Why can't I remember the line?
Well, with PSR, the way I did it was I wrote all of them out on note cards, and there was a day where my stuff was split up over like multiple scenes. So like we had like a little break while we brought in another actor to act with me. So I would run these lines, and I'd memorize this section, say my lines, and then after we're done with the scene, I'd toss the card away.
I don't read this anymore.
Yep, and I'd be like, and then I picked them up at the end, so I kept them as a souvenir.
It's sold them on eBay, right? No.
I could. You'd probably buy them. You'd probably buy them.
Yeah, what?
Here, Mr. Keebs.
Yeah,
sir. So let's we've talked a little bit about your executive producing career and your acting career, but let's talk a little bit more about your work in the brewery field.
Yeah.
And your knowledge of history within breweries around the Twin Cities and
Yeah. I got lucky in 2015. I got hired by Flat Earth Brewing.
It's okay.
That was a guitar.
Live.
That was just my guitar.
That was a guitar falling over.
Just the guitar fell over,
yeah.
but
If you want a song and dance.
if you want to,
So
we're gonna let Landyn hold it for now.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy.
There you go. So was when you got into when you started working at Flat Earth Brewery, and I think we knew each other before you
Yes.
started working there, right?
Totally,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
by
Yes,
that
what
time.
set did you two meet on, or how did you two meet?
No, we met at Elliott Graber's.
Yeah, I think so. Or was it Sure Shot? Was it Sure Shot?
No. It was Graber's.
That's when I met Landyn, I think.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't on Sure Shot.
And
wasn't?
we weren't even shooting anything that day. Or maybe we were shooting something and we'd wrapped. All I know is that there was another Elliott in the house.
Uh-oh.
And
Elliott Squared, is that like
Elliott Squared, that's
Yeah.
it, yeah. Elliott 1 T, Elliott 2 T's, is that what they said? Yeah.
Still
and
confuses me.
the Vinny's parents, they had a nice piano, and you sat down at the piano and started playing.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy can play.
Well, let's not go that far. I don't know.
This guy can play. So, yeah, that was like the first time I met you. And then, like, you moved to LA for a bit, and then you came back, and I think it was for like Z-Fest or something. One of the screenings for maybe Z-Fest, we ended up sitting next to each other.
That's right.
And I
That's
just
right.
saw you on an episode of Modern Family, like not too previous to that. And I gave you shit. I'm like, oh yeah, here I am watching one of my favorite shows, and who fucking shows up on my favorite show but you?
This guy.
Now it's
friggin'
ruined. It's
this
ruined.
guy. I can't watch it anymore.
That's it.
That's what everyone says.
Just lost a thing.
Yeah, it just ruined. It
Just ruined the whole thing. But yeah, I remember that. That was fun. Well, and you and I, we've always kind of frequented like the Twin Cities Film Festival here.
Yes, we had. Yeah, I think there's probably 2 years in a row that we would sneak into the VIP room at Twin Cities Film Fest and like take
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. We've done that a few times.
We're just
Like you do.
And Jaden and Bill and Danny are just like, why do we keep inviting these guys? Why the hell did they keep coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a bad penny, right?
Yeah, right.
I think this time around, because I mean we went through COVID and everything, and we couldn't have the 2020. I'll buy my way in this year, but 2019, yeah, I might have been in the VIP room talking about both those guys, in the VIP, and they had to have known. They had to.
Oh, they
know.
knew. They knew. They're just like, whatever. We're
Just
too
turn a
tired.
blind eye.
Yeah, they're like, we're too tired. We can't anymore. You know.
Security thinks we're crying wolf.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, I mean, we'd hang out there, and then when I got the job at the brewery, we started doing live music, and I hired you out to do live music.
That's right. Yes, and I
then
appreciate
you,
that.
You
Thank
came out to play for us a few times. Yeah, you played one of my parties there.
That's right. Yeah, we played your birthday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
your
year.
birthday party. I loved it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Hey guys, this is Jimmy Keebs, and I'm proud to be on the Artist Journey podcast with my pals Elliott and Landyn. I'll be talking about my journey in film, along with my journey through the brewing industry. So please stick around and listen.
Well, yeah, just in what's the say? Hookers and blow? No. Yes. So I got to know you even better then, and we had seen each other in two different markets at that point. It was like we had seen each other in the film industry, and then now in the brewing industry. And you taught me a lot about the process of brewing, and you've taken me through a lot of the tours there at Flat Earth Brewing Company back in the day, which is now St. Paul Brewing.
Yep.
And then also at 11 Wells Distillery, which is right across the street.
Yep. And now, that's not where I'm at on like Friday nights. I'm usually at 11 Wells. I give tours, and I don't know that much about distilling. So what I do
You
know,
fooled me when you gave me the tour.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I try to like give the gist of it. What I do know. What I do know though is the history of those buildings, and that's really what's drawn me back. Is those buildings. Those are historic buildings that they're part of the Hams Brewery complex. Some of the oldest buildings go back to 1865.
That's awesome.
Hams ran for 100 years before it was sold off, and now I think it's brewed by Molson Coors. I think that is the main name. I think at one time it was Miller Coors, and you can still buy Hams today, which pretty much all I drink these days. I am a big local craft beer fan. I am, but man, there's nothing better than a cold Hams while I'm sitting in my pool.
You have a pool?
I should have brought.
I have a pool.
I should have thought to bring hams tonight. I can't believe I didn't have hams.
Well, I was gonna bring Hams, but you said he had beer, so that's why I drink.
I had beer. I didn't have
yellow.
hams. I love Hams as a beer, but I also have a little experience like within the old brewery there, or the old building downtown St. Paul.
Yeah.
Working when I worked at Vauqueray and.
The Ham building. Yes.
In the Ham building.
Yep.
Yes.
Which the Ham family built. Oh man, when did they build that? I'd have to look up the year. It was early 1900s, and I think that's the only property they still own.
Really?
Huh.
Yes, I think they only own that building.
So, do you have any tidbits of historical facts that happened with like Hams and the Schmidt Brewery or any of those
so
that you'd like to share?
when Ham took over the brewery in 1865, he got it as collateral. He put up collateral to a guy named Keller. Keller was going to go chase the gold rush. Well, Keller died.
Oh boy.
Well, Ham knows nothing about brewing beer, so. Ham sends for a guy that he knew in Germany named Jacob Schmidt. Jacob Schmidt becomes his brewer. And the families live together, they run the brewery together until about the mid-1880s, where the families have a falling out. Basically overnight, Schmidt and his family, they move out. And later on, Schmidt starts his brewery, Schmidt Brewing, down off of West 7. Ham keeps his going. They're competitors now. And they run their breweries, just fine, but separate. One other thing that I always like to point out is that there's the Hams Kidnapping, which I bring up and people are like, what is that?
Yeah, what is that? Tell us about that.
So, what people don't know is that St. Paul was a haven during Prohibition for gangsters. So basically what you could do is if you were a criminal, you could come into St. Paul as long as you checked in with the local police, you were free. They weren't going to arrest you. You just couldn't commit any crimes in St. Paul.
Huh.
You're free to do whatever you wanted, drink, do whatever, gamble, whatever you wanted to do. Just don't commit crimes here. All right, well, Prohibition ends. So a lot of these bank robbers, bootleggers, they need a way to make money. Well, they're kidnapping. We'll kidnap people. So I think it's June 15th, 1934. William Ham is walking to his house. His house is up on Greenbrier, up the hill from where my old brewery, St. Paul Brewing, is now. There's a big mansion that sits on what is now Sweet Hollow Park.
Okay.
There was a big mansion up there. Well, he cuts across the street at Minnehaha and Greenbrier, which is now the alleyway to get into St. Paul Brewing. He crosses the street. Somebody goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Ham?" "Yeah, that's me." And they bundled him off into a car
Oh boy.
and kidnapped him. They had him write a ransom letter for $100,000,
Wow.
and he named his sales manager as the recipient because he knew he would do right by him.
Hey, yep.
They held him first in Wisconsin, then in Illinois.
Hmm.
I think it was after like 4 days they finally released him. The sales manager was told, "Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna drive this car with no doors on it, with a red light hanging in it, so we can see that nobody's in there. You're gonna drive north on Highway 61 until a car flashes their lights at you. Then you're gonna stop. You're gonna leave the briefcase in the middle of the road. You can turn around and go back." So he gets just south of Pine City, my hometown. Gets flashed by the lights. Puts the briefcase down, drives back. And then they released him around like Wyoming, Minnesota, just north of here. Unharmed. But he was changed forever. He was a very outgoing guy before that, but he was more of a recluse afterwards.
That would do it to you. Wow.
One of the guys that got put up on trial was originally from my hometown.
Oh.
Really?
So it's like I kind of got to point my finger and go, "Yeah, it was probably you."
It's a bad boy town, I guess.
Yeah.
Watch out for them Pine City boys.
Hey, if you guys want to know more about the Hams Kidnapping, my friends Bick and Cynthia Smith do a tour Saturday and Sunday in downtown St. Paul. They do a gangster tour
Oh wow, that's
called
interesting.
Sin City Tours.
Yes. I've always wanted to-
SYN City Tours that you can go check out. I took the first one on Easter Sunday, loved it, blown away by the amount of like scum and sleaze.
That'll
You
do
should
it.
just
Like you do.
Please.
Just a
That's how we
ooze.
do things here.
You should just ooze to the city of St. Paul.
Yeah.
What can I get you? Some scum and some
Yeah.
sleaze, please.
Right.
I highly recommend taking their tour because, man,
And who is this again, though?
this is Bick and Cynthia Smith.
Okay.
Mainly Cynthia. Cynthia came up with it, and I think Bick is now doing a lot of like the extra tours because they have so many.
So Jimmy, one thing that I've learned, and I'm a South Dakota boy coming in,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not a Minnesota boy at heart, but I am a Minnesota
Are you
boy
Minnesota
because I
boy?
love
Yes.
Minnesota.
Born and raised.
Where from?
Faribault, Minnesota.
Oh, south.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, wait, whoa. Is there some sort of discrimination happening here? Because
Oh, yeah.
the way you said that, it was like, oh, I'm from the north, he's from the
Just-
south.
To me, Minnesota
Animosity is real.
is the Twin Cities up 35 to Duluth. That's it. That's Minnesota to
Oh
me.
wow. So I don't exist.
Everything else is extra.
But wait, I thought there was a discrimination between like Minneapolis and St. Paul. It was like this big rivalry.
There's.
But what is that? I've never understood
So
it. coming
I
from
didn't
the
understand
outside.
it until I lived in St. Paul, and I worked in St. Paul. There definitely is. I don't know what it is. It's just I think it's a younger crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe in Minneapolis as opposed to St. Paul. I don't know, but there's a rivalry between the two cities.
Is it like a college thing, or is it like a
No.
high school or a
I don't
team
know.
thing or a? Huh.
There's just a rivalry. I don't know. Maybe St. Paul's more blue collar. Minneapolis isn't, but I don't know. I know St. Paul's like nightlife is a lot more quiet. You know, there's not a lot of like clubs or anything downtown. Where St. Paul has like more clubs, a lot more
Minneapolis,
nightlife, and
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, there is a different vibe between the two cities. You know, Minneapolis is kind of like up and coming, new age,
Yeah.
modern, hipster vibe. you know, with mixed with a little, of course, with corporate world as well, and of course the teams of Twins and Vikings. But yeah, St. Paul is more of like, it's historic. It's like when the settlers came in, they first built the city here, right, on this side of the river, and the river does separate. When right now, as we're recording this, we are literally on the Mississippi.
Touch me again, by the way.
We're literally on the Mississippi River, and where the two divides are. Which is why I love this area. But
you know, you cross the bridge out here; it's a totally different place.
Oh yeah,
it's that's how I felt.
It's you see it.
Yeah, it's totally different, and I don't know why it's different. It just feels different.
Yeah,
it just is.
It's.
I don't know. For me, I always said when I moved down, it's like, you never want to live in Minneapolis. I always want to live St. Paul, Roseville, that area. Maybe that's just where I moved down to Roseville, and I kind of just know that area the best.
Yes.
Where Minneapolis, even though I worked in and around Minneapolis for 20 years, I still don't know a lot
about it.
Yeah, and I went to school there too.
Yep.
Yeah, it is definitely bigger. It is a lot bigger than St. Paul. But
so when you went to MCTC, were you living in Roseville and then just commuting and stuff for your classes? Okay.
Commuted at night school.
Oh, okay.
In rush hour.
Oh wow.
In a car that did not run well.
Uh-huh.
In
winter.
Or during the summer, it would overheat. Or get close to overheating and be like, I don't know how to fix that. Nor do I have the money. But we're just going to hope that traffic moves so the engine cools down.
Yes, please.
Listen to the Artist Dirty Podcast. This is Jimmy Keebs, where we'll be talking about all the ins and outs in the Minnesota film industry.
Well, sometimes you have to do that. So you had already had a little bit of experience on sets before MCTC? Or just shooting your band videos?
No, just my videos.
Okay. So then when you went to MC...
But by my second semester, I'd already been on a set.
Okay. So
I'd already
you kind of had... Okay. So how would you describe from like what you learned at MCTC versus what you learned out in the field on different sets? Like, was it a lot more... when you're actually out there and doing it and seeing it be done, is it make it a lot more like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here? Like, does it explain it better than stuff you can actually see done in a classroom?
That's a great question, and yeah, totally. But that's how I learned. I learned by doing.
Yep.
Where a lot of our coursework was a lot of instructional. Where all right, we're gonna edit videos, we're gonna do this or that, and I'm like, but I want to learn how to light a scene, and we don't have very many classes on lighting, anything, and that's just kind of how my program was. The program changed after I left, where a lot of like the younger crop, I point at them, the folks that came after me, they're the guys, they're the people that I go, these are the guys you want to hire, and those are your Anthony Cousins and
So the program has since changed from your time when you were there.
But I learned a lot working on sets.
So that was almost a teacher in itself. Yeah. Being firsthand, seeing it done.
Yeah, like the one thing I really credit, like me learning about lighting. I can't light a scene by myself, but I definitely understand it. Was working on Masquerade, which you were in.
Oh yes.
We were filming
Jennifer Prettyman.
Yeah, we were filming at the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's up?
And working with the guys that were lighting.
Justin Shack. He was from UCLA. He went to film school in UCLA.
He was shooting it.
Went, I think.
Yeah. And then there were two other guys. I forget their name. They were the guys lighting.
Brian
scene.
Nelson was one of them, I think.
No, I don't think so. No, one was an older guy, but I remember working with those guys, and I'd since worked with those guys on like other sets, and just blown away by their knowledge of what they're doing and explaining like why they need to do this or that, and
it probably helps when you can actually see the difference in front of you if they put one gel over it, and like, oh no, we need this
Yeah.
shadow a little more over here, and then they do another
Yeah.
setup. You can actually visually see it, so that's probably a lot more effective way to learn it than reading it in a book.
Yep. Or even, you know,
Yeah.
being on set
Yeah.
with, you know, guys like, I say again, Anthony Cousins, who I ended up working with quite a bit, and understanding, like, okay, why we're shooting things the way we're shooting it. You know, why are we, you know, we're shooting over shoulder here, or we're, you know, we're going to do a wide here. Why we're going to shoot at this angle or that angle. I really like that. I like that part of it more than anything. I don't care about acting. I really don't. I never wanted to be an actor. It just kind of
Me either.
sprung up. It just sprung up, and you know,
Nobody does.
I'm happy to do it, but man, just being there and watching this stuff happen.
It's like magic
Yeah,
itself.
it's way more fun for me.
So,
You know, I got lucky with that with In Harm's Way, because that was my role.
Yeah.
Is I was the smallest executive producer. I was the smallest amount of money. It wasn't a lot. I bought basically my credit. That was it. Like and then I had like a couple of scenes, you know. But mainly when I'd be on set, I was just there to hang out, and I had way more fun doing that. You know, and
Crafty is good. Gotta love the crafty.
yeah, exactly.
yes.
Yeah, drinking all the bottled water I could, and then
That was you.
yeah.
Like, God, I'm staying real hydrated. This is great. There's not even beer right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, can you tell me something though? I want to know about your experience, because I loved you in Harm's Way, but I loved you even more in Steel Vengeance.
Yes, I was gonna ask.
And
about that.
here's a picture of Jimmy. He's the cover.
Hey,
Yes.
you know this guy?
He's the
Let me
cover.
see. This is Chris Critter Baki.
Oh, okay.
And we were actually in film school together.
Huh.
Yeah. And we never like worked on a set other than acting together. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first time I had ever seen you on screen, and I was like, this guy's fucking brilliant. Like, because you're not acting, you're just being who you are.
You just don't care about
Yeah.
So that was another one that was in between Harms, and then we did a bunch of stuff during the summer leading up to the premieres of Potpourri and Harms. Like we're shooting
All
web
67?
series. Yeah, I wasn't involved in that, but yeah, they were doing stuff like that. The fake movie trailers.
Okay.
And Ryan Shadley and I think it was Aaron Piccola, who was our makeup artist, they
Yep.
wrote that. And Ryan Shadley, great effects artist in town, he directed it. And they had me started. I'm like, all right, I'll do this. And
It's kind of cool.
you know, it's just a little, like, short little thing. And it's gonna
Living
get-
my superhero dream.
and,
Yeah, right.
But the thing that I got hung up on was there was a sex scene,
Oh boy.
and the person they cast for the sex scene is Shannon McDonough, who's
It's like your
my
best friend,
yeah,
right?
my best friend in the world. And
How was that? Was that awkward? Was that a conversation where you're like, hey,
Well-
Shannon, what's up?
yeah, and I'm like, okay, we gotta go do this.
Yeah.
Well, I pick her up and I drive her to set because we gotta go shoot this scene, and it's like
Method actor.
yeah, it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's awkward. We'll just get through it, whatever. And it's not that big of a deal. I mean, people are like, "Are you gonna get around?" And I'm like, "No. There's 7 people watching me. There's at least 1 camera on me. There's lights everywhere. No, there's none of that. It's just let's just get it done so we can move on because we had to shoot other stuff that day."
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, let's keep moving. Let's like knock out this little bedroom scene so I can
Yes.
move on. Because I think there was another bedroom scene after that
Wow. You're a
where
busy man.
I just had to like stand in the mirror and pretend to drink whiskey.
It's a lot of work in a
That's
day.
hard work.
While women threw their underwear at me.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What happened? Okay, well, I'll skip through it.
Anyways, so when you started to get involved with the industry, I always like to ask people, because I know for as long as I've been doing this, 15 plus years, like, Does it ever take away from the magic and the make believe when you see how things are done? Like when you're watching a movie or a TV show on the big screen, are you looking at the stuff that's going on out of the camera's view, or are you just able to tune in as an audience member and enjoy it?
No, I can definitely enjoy things at an audience level still.
That's
And
good.
I will enjoy, but then I'll go back and go, well, I wonder how they did that. No, okay, well, I bet you they did it this way. And that's kind of what I like to do. You know, usually when I'm watching something, after I get done watching, I have IMDb pulled up. And I'm reading the trivia on it, like trying to
Me
figure out.
too. I love doing that. Yeah.
Trying to figure out, like, maybe there's some insight in here to
Why
characters
they do this.
and why they did this and that. That I've always liked, and I've been reading IMDb for almost 20 years. You know, just trying to figure out, you know, all the ins and outs of making movies, and even after that, none of the magic's gone. I can still totally be sucked in by something and go, wow, that was really believable. I wonder if that
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I wonder if that was real world or, you know, was there any CGI on that?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, that was CGI, and then I'll learn that no, that
No, it wasn't.
That was real. That
I
was,
like to still see if things are actually shot on real film.
yeah. The thing that I've done that's blowing, you know, still blows me away, is in PSR. I get shot in the neck with a dart.
Yep, at the
And I know how that was done. There was already a dart glued to my neck, and I had to whip my neck like that.
Yeah.
But it looks like I really got shot in the neck with a dart.
Yep.
And it's camera trickery.
They
And
did like the flash pan, right? Where
Yeah.
it was like, it was
Yeah.
a quick.
yeah, and I whipped my neck, and
then, yeah.
I had this this dart in my neck, and I'm like, ah. That's
It's
something.
fun to actually see how it's done, though. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, when I watch movies like that, too, I'm always like, I know how they did that.
Yeah,
It's kind of fun.
So you've gotten a chance to see both the behind the camera and to be in front of it,
Yeah.
and to understand kind of like how both worlds work.
yeah.
Yeah. What about like the business side of the film industry? I mean, what would you say for like independent, upcoming young artists that want to be actors, musicians, singers, songwriters, you know, just creatives? If they're going to come to the Twin Cities area, I mean, what would you say, you know, going forward?
Oh, network. Go out to everything you can. Talk to everybody you can. Introduce yourself. Don't be afraid to share what you've done. Don't be afraid. You know, because chances are people have done worse. So just share what you've done. Yeah. Sit next to these guys. They're
All the
terrible.
above, right?
Yes, exactly, right?
But that's so. I love that you said that, Jimmy. Thank you, because I think the main thing, like what you're trying to say, is just like we all had to start from somewhere. We're all coming into this fresh network. Just it doesn't matter if you've, you know, maybe it was your first movie that you produced. Go out there and promote it. Tell people about it. Get people excited. Be excitable. Be excited in them. Be excited in yourself.
Be
Because
excited to share it.
be
yes.
excited to share, because it is
Well,
exciting, you know.
if I had
share art,
networked-
you know.
In the beginning, I would have never met Brandon.
Yeah.
If I would have said, no, fuck you guys, I'm leaving. You know, I'm not going to shoot your band, you already got a guy. If I would have never met him, chances are I would still just be filming live bands
Yeah.
to this day. That would have been it.
You wouldn't be
know,
here talking to us.
I give Brandon a lot of credit for that. And I hope that he knows that, because I've told him that. I hope he remembers that. But also, like, even after that, like, going out and meeting, you know, Ryan Beck and you know, these guys, and I've taken meetings with other people, you know, that were, like, looking for help, you know, with a screenplay or this or that. And I've sat down with them and, like, you know, had a beer or two with them, read their script, even did a polish on their script and sent it back to them. You know, that can also turn into something too. I mean, it's just what you do. you know, definitely don't be afraid to talk to people. And that's how I meet other people that I've worked in with Z-Fest stuff with, and it just
I
makes
think
sense.
social media plays a big part in it as well.
Yeah,
'cause-
I don't share as much as I used to with projects that I worked on. You know, maybe I got bad at that. In the early days of Facebook, especially when we were releasing like the trailer for Potpourri, In Harm's Way, and PSR, I would sit on my desktop computer with the chat function open for Facebook, and I would just bomb everybody on my Facebook that was online
Yep.
with the link to the trailer, just so they'd watch it.
Yeah.
Now I tend not to do that because I don't need to do that. I think we got a good hold right now locally that I think people are gonna notice us. You know, we got a good following. You know, it could be a little better. I mean, it's not, we don't have millions of people following us, but it's enough that people are gonna watch our stuff and hopefully share it around. And
So what do you think, like, is the reason for that? I mean, do you think it's the tax incentive that Minnesota hasn't been getting, or is it that we're just not as big of a, city as to match up next to Chicago? We don't have a union, right?
no,
So
a lot of it is that tax incentive.
the tax incentive.
It
yeah.
really is. I mean, you look at a lot of movies that, a lot of TV shows that we've lost
Yep.
because we don't have that incentive.
Mhm.
Fargo's a TV show now where some of it's supposed to take place in Minnesota. It's not shot here. It's shot in Canada.
Really? Huh.
And it's been like that for years, where even movies that are set partially in Minnesota, they're not shot here, and that sucks. And we just need those tax breaks, much like Georgia. Georgia has a great tax incentive, and that's why they're
A
getting
lot of stuff is filmed there.
And I think Alaska's up there now too, where they're getting some tax incentives to come up and film.
Because the Twin Cities used to produce like The Mighty Ducks and Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Grumpy Old
and
Men.
Grumpy Old Men, right.
Fargo,
which is like Coen Brothers,
as
right?
a kid, but I was a teenager, and they wanted people for extras, and I should have done that.
I just
Yeah.
watched Fargo for the first time last week.
No way.
Yeah,
I saw it for the first time like 6 months ago.
yeah. So, hey, get off us about it, all right?
No, I'm not on you. I
we're
I saw like 16 years ago. Just kidding.
You just basically just said, hey, how can you assholes not have seen Fargo?
Well, I wasn't trying to say that, but
Those
you
are your
just said it.
exact
So
words. We can play back the video. Those are exactly what you said.
that's how I was looking at you. I
Yeah.
was saying, how in the hell? No.
Yeah.
But all those films that used to have high budgets, like big, even blockbusters, right?
Yeah.
Could and we used to produce 10 a year here in this market. So what happened there?
We lost our tax incentive. That's exactly what happened. And we did. And, we had somebody helping lobby for that who's since passed away, Bruce Miller,
Yes.
a good friend of mine.
PSR, yep.
He was a lobbyist for the Farmers Union, but he was also helping to lobby to get us the tax incentives.
Okay.
And it just, we don't have them yet. Hopefully one day we will get them,
That would be nice.
so we can get these projects. Like, even like recently, like Juno. That's not too recent, but Juno, a few others that they're set in Minnesota, but they're not shot here at all.
Just because it's cheaper for a production company
Yeah.
to shoot in another location.
Yeah.
Which seems like Minnesota's missing out on a lot of
Yeah.
that revenue.
I think Contagion, I think they shot a little bit here, which I highly recommend Contagion. I mean, if you guys would have watched it at the beginning of the pandemic, you would have been like, oh yeah, this is totally like matching up with daily life. The disease isn't as deadly, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Artist Journey podcast. This is Jimmy Keebs. Please stick around and listen to more of my stories about my time in the film industry and the brewing industry.
So, I would just like to get your perspective on 2021 coming into this new year and kind of looking back on your own personal life over the last year and a half. I know you've had a lot of professional and personal changes that have happened. So
2020 sucked.
If you're comfortable,
But
I'd love to hear.
2021, I am hoping, we're almost halfway through. Halfway through, we're seeing things improve. Month by month. Hoping that things continue to improve. Who knows what it's going to bring. Film-wise, though, I'm hoping to see definitely our industry reopen. More than what it is.
That would be nice.
Whether I'm involved in anything or not, I just want to see people working. Out there making movies. Because that gives me opportunities to go out and promote, so-and-so's film. Because I'll do that too. I'll go talk about your movie if I need to.
Oh, thank you.
Not yours.
Oh.
Never yours.
Oh, well, I want to know.
Don't cast him.
Oh, hey, none of that. Just because I beat you out in that part. No, I want to know the first time you met me. Where was that?
Oh, man.
And what did you think?
That
then?
was Potpourri in Mac's basement.
Yes.
Filming,
Those were Sarah French there.
Yep,
right?
I think we had Sarah French on set that day. Which the Potpourri set
really?
was fucking wild. Because
I
it was,
believe-
especially
if
at
their
Mac.
French was there.
We had a keg of beer on set that was a prop that was real. So we're all filling up our glasses all day. I think that was a 20-hour day
Wow.
where
That is a long
we filmed
day.
all over that house. But yeah, you were filming in the basement. You and Mike Borka, Brock Dombrowski, and
Yes.
Kareem Wazwaz,
And Sarah French, yep.
Brandon, and Sarah French in a bunch of different scenes. It wasn't all one scene, so.
And Ryan Kaiser was there.
Yep, Kaiser was there.
Oh yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
His character's passed out at the top
He
of the
was
stairs.
in the scene with Sarah French and Mike Borka and myself, yep.
Yeah. Way too much fun. We had way too much. But yeah, I remember, meeting you and going, all right, who's this guy? And I knew nothing about you at all. I knew Mike because I'd cast Mike in some of my MCTC projects.
Yeah.
For a while, the only two actors I knew were Mike and Brandon. So they got cast and everything.
Oh,
And
wow.
I knew no actresses at the time. I didn't know anybody. I knew those guys, they were it. But yeah, I met you and all right, this guy acts gay enough, I guess. Well, because Mike was playing a gay character and he's not a gay character. He's not a gay man. And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's gay. He plays a gay character, all right. I don't know if he is.
You heard it there.
Yeah. But you did great. It was fun.
Thank you. It was fun. And
And
so
I
you
was
said,
about probably 10 beers deep by then.
yeah, well, I look better too. So you said you had known Brandon and Mike, but you didn't know any actresses. I know you and Shannon McDonough are good friends. When did you first meet her?
Potpourri. Same.
Okay.
Oh really?
Probably the previous week the first day
Okay.
of shooting Potpourri, when we started shooting Potpourri, I was just the behind the scenes person. I was taking still photography and I was running around with the Canon XL2, Brandon's
Dream
Canon
camera.
XL2, and I was shooting behind the scenes. And that was like one of the last things I ever directed was the behind the scenes for Potpourri. And I remember at one point we're down in the basement, they're shooting something upstairs, but I'm running lines with all the other actors. And we're just drinking beer, having fun. And I don't know, we just became buds. Like we ended up on sets here or there. You know, over the next few months. Like, I think we were on a set called Bloodshed Love, which is where Shannon came in. She was one of the leads. I was just playing a bartender. And she's doing her makeup, and I'm talking to her, like, we're all pals, and she's like, "Oh, just sit down." I'm like, "All right." So I sit down and bullshit with her. You know, a little intimidated, because, you know, Shannon was a lead in the last thing I was on. Now she's the lead on this one. I'm still a bartender.
Yeah,
So I'm like, who's this person? But what really solidified it for us was my roommates were having a little anti-Valentine's Day party on Valentine's Day, which is a Monday. At Grumpy's in Roseville, there was nobody in there. So a bunch of us go out there, and Mondays at Grumpy's was $2 craft beers, Minnesota craft beers. So I'm getting Minnesota craft. I'm drinking Surly. So I'm drinking $2 glasses of Surly. But I see Shannon post on Facebook that she's sitting by herself on Valentine's Day. I'm like, she's down at the Chianti Grill, also in Roseville, just down Snelling. I'm like, "Hey, come down to Grumpy's. Like, we're hanging out." I don't know. I'm hanging out. I'm like, no, come on down. So she comes down, hangs out, and that kind of really solidified it for us. Was that, you know, us drinking together on Valentine's Day, sad and depressed because we're all alone. The only person there that really got lucky that night was my roommate Amber. She met a guy named Mike, who is now her fiance.
Wow.
They've been together like 10 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. They met for the first time that night. It was my first time meeting Mike too, and I got further with him than she did because we rubbed mustaches together.
Oh,
we had a mustache.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Truth comes out.
So
Wow.
I hope that she's since gotten further with him.
That's the hope, right? Wow.
But yeah, they they're engaged. And,
Wow.
you know, it was kind of the magic of that night. Like, I got a best friend out of it. She got a fiance.
Hey, everyone won, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy, thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking time with us, even as much
Yeah.
as you despise me. But
I don't even know who you are, actually.
neither do I. So.
No.
One last question before we go. If you don't
Touching me
mind,
again.
if you
See,
don't
I
mind,
touched
I'd like. Would you be willing to share a little bit about your personal life over the last year or so?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the last year was really tough. My dad was hospitalized for about 20 times. And he eventually passed away in August.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he was he's definitely one of my early supporters in film. He showed me a lot of movies. Like, I had no restrictions growing up. I could watch whatever I wanted, whatever he was watching, I would watch it. You know, watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3 at 5 years old and wasn't traumatized at all. Loved it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when I got in the film, I wasn't even in school yet. I was still, like, cutting together, like, you know, my fun little videos with my friends. He got a computer and he wanted to learn how to edit. So he had got a bunch of his dad's 16 millimeter film transferred onto VHS, which then he uploaded into his computer, and he started editing
Wow.
video along with me, and I come over and like work with him on it. That was really cool. And for my final project for MCTC, he was actually one of the extras
Oh, fun.
in my final project, and that was a lot of fun. And he showed me what is my number one favorite film for the first time. That is True Romance. Came out in 1993. Yeah, he showed that to me for the first time, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. And the more I read about it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. This will be my number one favorite forever. So yeah, he passed away in August, and we threw him one hell of a party. So much of a party. Between me and my brother, we think we drank probably about a case and a half of Hams. About 45 beers between the two of us. Bottle of Jägermeister.
Like you do.
Yeah. The next morning, my stepmom sends me a text. She's like, hey, can you guys bring me my car? Because we had somebody bring her home. She was also way too drunk to get home by herself. Yeah, no problem. She's like, oh, by the way, can you grab your dad? And I'm like, my dad? Oh, my dad's ashes were in the garage.
Oh,
He was the last one up, partying all night. That's the way I look at it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll grab him. I grab his box of ashes and I seatbelt him into my truck. I'm like, all right, man, time to go home. So
Wow.
Yeah.
wow.
yeah, it was a tough year, but it was also, a year where I also learned a lot about myself. Like I can build a structure. Like I built a bar in my backyard. I can build a pool. There's stuff I can do.
Yeah.
So
What's the name of your bar?
my name that I came up with was Fiddy's Lounge, which was the name of our family bar, which is what was on the east side of St. Paul, belonged to my dad's uncle.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
kind of Irish themed a little bit, but I'm getting ready to run a tap line out there, so I'll have a tap beer out there this summer.
Well, I think everyone would love a tap beer. I remember when you were just beginning building it, and to see it now, it's pretty
Yeah.
amazing what you've done. So
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And there's a point where, you're building something and you don't know what you're doing. Where it's like, this thing's rocking back and forth. What am I doing? Everybody's going to judge my craftsmanship. And then all of a sudden it doesn't rock anymore. It's solid. It's a solid structure. It's not going anywhere. And people comment on how well it's built. And I'm like, really? I see like probably 100 flaws in this. And I guess I do that with my movies too. It's like, oh yeah, you guys tell me they're good, but I'm like, I'm looking at that there. That shouldn't have been there. But I guess we all have that. Even the biggest productions,
Yes.
we'll have a boom mic show up every now or somebody who's not supposed to be in the shot in the shot.
Shadow, yep.
Yeah, so,
I like looking for those bloopers.
no, yeah, they're fun.
So, like, with all this life experience, is there one thing you would say to, like, just people coming up in the world looking for something that they can become? Is there an inspiration that keeps you going, or is there?
There's a mantra. I use it all the time. It comes from the miniseries From the Earth to the Moon, which is a miniseries that Tom Hanks made, I think in 1998. It's all about the Apollo missions to the moon. First episode, one of the first title cards that comes up is something that, it's a question. Can we do this? Which is NASA kind of asking themselves, can we send a man to the moon? Can we send a man into space? Can we do this? And it's something that I've used for probably the last decade. Well, in at least the last 5 to 6 years. When I was getting ready to buy my house or, work at the brewery, I'd always run the numbers. I keep a very elaborate bank log where it has all my finances on it. I can tell you 6 months from now how much money I'm going to have. And I ask myself, can I do this? Can we do this? And I do that before I start anything new. And you really got to sit down and reflect. And you got to look at all the variables and come to that conclusion. And I highly recommend people just think about that. Think before you go do something. Just don't go do it. Make sure it's right. Don't just don't move to LA right now because you want to be an actor. Think about it before you go do it, because it's not that easy. So yeah, it's definitely that.
Well, as a man who's been in not only the entertainment industry but also the brewing industry, history of St. Paul, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then also you work in healthcare, and
Yes.
and you work with the numbers as well, and
A
also
Jimmy of all trades.
Jimmy of all
I
trades.
work on
so-
the number side of healthcare, or
And
the
you-
dollar side.
And you see lots of money coming through, and you see where the money goes, I would imagine, and all this.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And that's been a challenging year there too, where you get shut down. I mean, my company we couldn't do any elective surgeries. I mean, everything had to be emergency or COVID, and you watch that revenue stream just drop. I'm sorry, you know. To me, we should definitely have universal healthcare for sure. It just makes way more sense. It's way easier. I think it's gonna cost less overall. But watching that part of the business kind of just drop off, and then the people around you directly affected, where it's like, well, we got to reduce time. We got to reduce everybody like 80% of their hours, 50% of their hours, or over the summer where we had 2 to 3 people that were off all summer.
Wow.
No, they could use their vacation time. That's fine. A lot of us have vacation time, like a month's worth at a time, so you can burn that and you're fine. And then you get unemployment on top of that. But man, I couldn't do it. That's a lot to ask. So very thankful for those folks. That kind of, took the bullet for those of us that were able to work full time all summer and get through COVID, and now we're slowly getting back on track. And
yes, feels good that things are starting to go in the
getting
other
getting that
now.
patient care, because man, there are surgeries that they're elective, but people need to have them done. People are in pain. Knee surgery, hip surgery, or they're in pain if they don't have them. So it's kind of nice to kind of be back there where it's like, yeah, come on, we'll fix you right up.
Does the future of healthcare in the medical field, does that look promising going forward, or does it look like we're kind of headed?
I would say so. I think, yeah. I hope for me, anyways.
Well, hope for all of us,
Yes.
right?
I mean, I got 20 years in. I'm hoping that I can continue with my 20 years,
Yeah.
20 more years, and then retire.
That would be nice.
So
Yeah.
20 years is a lot to be in a company, guys.
There's the guy. There's the man. Jimmy Keebs, thank you so much for
Thank
this
you.
interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for
My
not
co-host,
killing me.
Landyn Banx, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir.
Thank you. Welcome.
You did touch me again.
I can't help myself. You're irresistible. What can I say?
Anything happens.
Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Check out Jimmy Keebs everywhere, right? IMDb,
Amazon Prime. I don't know. I don't know where stuff is.
Yeah, and check out Steel Vengeance. Aha.
It's on YouTube.
Finding Jimmy.
I think
Yeah.
that's on Vimeo.
And alongside it, American Rescue Squad, One Night Stand, Landyn Banx, Another Christmas
I was in
Alone,
that.
Chased. Oh, you're in Chased?
I was in
I'm
that.
in Chased.
Landyn.
Wait, you're in Chased?
Yes.
I only came for one day. I wasn't with you guys.
We
that
had
day.
a few.
Yeah.
Okay, The Dawn, which we worked together on.
Yeah, we were in the Dawn together.
That's right. That was fun.
not in a scene together, but we were in the same movie.
That's right. But they didn't want to bring me on. That's why. Rise Against the Fall. Brian puts in his You were in Brian puts in his 2 weeks notice.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to do
That
more
was
research
that
on
was
you.
another musical.
I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on this guy. Okay, guys, thanks so much for hanging out.
Thank
we'll
you, guys.
check you guys out next time. Thanks so much for hanging.
Thank you.
All right, Jimmy Keebs, Landyn Banx, Elliott Graber, peace.
All right. Thank you guys for listening to the Artist Journey podcast. It was a lot of fun. We talked about all of my feature films that I worked on. We talked about some of my, smaller short films. We talked about my career in the brewing industry. We talked about the Hams Kidnapping, and a lot of people seem to not know about that. So, with me, Jimmy Keebs, my pals Elliott and Landyn, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Stick around for more.